first episode of the Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War is seen and in the books, and I don't really do reviews. I give kind of my thoughts and how something kind of makes me feel. So if you want to call that a review, that's fine, but I'm just going to give my thoughts on it. To start with, and I'll go in depth on why I feel this way, but to start with, this episode was absolutely incredible. This felt like, yes, it's an anime, right? Yes, it's an anime, but it felt like it was doing something different. It felt like a movie. If every episode is going to feel like a movie, they're about to do something special. Like the way this was presented, the way this looked, the mystery of it, the way you were introduced. I have to go back and reread it. I felt like this covered about 3 chapters. Now, it says the series is going to be 52 episodes. So they're going to have to cover roughly 4 chapters an episode, which means they are going to have to omit or speed up some things that happened in the manga, especially if the rumors that they want to expound on some things like Squad Zero and the final battle with Yhwach and all that kind of thing. So, but getting right into it, the characters are just as we remember. It's like when I played Final Fantasy VII Remake, it was like visiting old friends. This is the same thing. It's going back and visiting old friends. You know, Ichigo is still kind of punkish. You know, got a bit of an attitude on him, but he's grown. You know, Inoue is still the mother of the group. You know, you've still got Ishida and Ichigo going back and forth, and you've got Chad just still doing Chad things. You know, the opening was interesting. The hollow battle, the hollows looked amazing. The art direction of this episode is amazing, and we'll get to the score here in a second too. But the art direction of this episode was amazing. The animation was slick. And I've already seen people talking about how at points there were a lot of stills. There's gonna be, you know, there's gonna be, because you have to let moments breathe. Especially in animation, you have to let moments breathe. There's a lot of emotion, a lot of tension in this first episode, man. This first episode, it was about 20 minutes of story, because they had a special like 4-minute outro, which was great. But it was about 20 minutes of story roughly, and I thought it was fantastic. I can't wait for next week's episode. It introduces the Vandenreich, the Stern Ritters. And the way I'm trying to think, I can't remember his name. The lieutenant of the first squad. The way he went out was more graphic than I thought it was gonna be, just with blood dripping and everything. So that was pretty intense. And then of course Yamamoto, the scene in his office with the Stern Ritters declaring war. That was intense, man. He's like, hey, your security's lacking. He says, I'm totally safe. There's no greater security here than me. I thought that was fantastic, and that's right out of the manga. There was a lot in this episode. The battle Ichigo with the first Stern Ritter, and I forget that Stern Ritter's name. But the first Quincy that he battles, who I believe is the Quincy you see on the rooftop at the beginning. I don't think that's Ishida. I don't think that's Uryu. But it could be. But the hollows look great. The art direction is great. Let's talk about the score, because I thought the score was fantastic. It was creepy when it needed to be. I loved when the first hollow comes on the screen, it holds on him and it features him, and the other hollows. The music in that scene is creepy and desperate. I thought Shiro Sagisu really did a great job of creating the horror and the tension in that moment. And once the Stern Ritters said, we're declaring war on Soul Society, it cuts right to Ichigo fighting that first Stern Ritter, and the music just boom kicks up that boom from the trailer. Man, so they had me at like everything they were doing, right? They had me invested, and then they did this little reel at the end, the 4-minute rewind with, regardless of that, The song Rapport by Tatsuya Kitani is a great song, and that's off of his latest album, Bipolar. I really like that album a lot. I've listened to it a bunch while working in the studio. The rewind they did to that song, going back to the beginning of Bleach, hitting all the high points, like giving you the catch up or whatever. Look, I'm not one of these guys who you'll see cry or get teary-eyed every time they like something. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm just not that dude. Look, when I watched that, I got a little misty eyed. I'm not gonna lie. It was like emotional to see that. It was like, to me, it was like, this is our love letter to the fans. That this 52 episodes we're about to do is a big love letter to the Bleach fandom and everybody who cares about this story and these characters and all that. That was what that told me there at the end. These people care about what they're working on. Studio Pierrot, however you say that, they care about this and they're excited. And the thing that stood out to me as well, I got emotional about that. That hit me and put a big smile on my face. I was like, oh man, they get it. The other thing that hits me about this is this has been in production for a long time. From concept to everything I saw on screen just in this first episode. From concept, roughs, storyboards, animatics, laying it out, everything. This has been in production for a long time. Because every shot in this was cinematic. Everything hung on or cut away from the perfect amount of time. There was no stalling for time in the cuts and the holds. There was none of that. No buff, no filler. Everything was cut and held perfectly. And so this has been planned for a long time. So I was excited for that. But yeah, that little ending 4 minutes. I've watched this episode like 3 times. It's amazing. I can't wait for next week so I can watch 2 episodes of Bleach over and over through the week. That was impressive stuff. This first episode was super impressive. I'm excited to see where it goes. Like, I'm really excited for the other things that they're going to be doing. Like, seeing the Soul King Palace, Squad Zero, the different battles with the different Soul Reapers, the people that are about to get taken out. And I don't want to spoil anything. Soul King, and then Yuha getting the almighty powers and what that's going to look like. And the final battle. Yeah, and again, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen it, but the final battle of the series, I want to see how they maybe expound upon that. Because if they expound upon anything in the series, yes, Squad Zero could use some more battles, but I'm not as held on that as I am that final battle. The conclusion needs more time to breathe. If you do anything in that last 3 or 4 episodes, give the conclusion time to breathe. And this is going to be, they're going to knock this thing out of the park. It already looks great. The characters are great. The story's amazing. We already know that from the manga. The music is incredible. The art direction is great. I'm really excited where this is going. So anyway, that's my take on the first episode of Bleach. I know some of you here on the channel, like me, are big Bleach fans. You all know I'm a big Bleach fan. We talk about a lot of JRPG stuff here, but I'm gonna take a break to talk about this because this is one of my favorite stories of all time. So anyway, hope y'all dug that. If you haven't checked out 1000 Year Blood War and you've watched Bleach, check this out. It's great. It does look like an OAV. It does look like a movie. It's like you can tell they're putting some money into this. There's a budget behind this, and it looks fantastic. Anyway, you all have a great day. Be safe, be good to each other, and keep rocking. I will see you all in the next video. Want to say a quick thank you to my YouTube and Patreon members and supporters. If you would like to support the future creation of content on this channel, get some few extra perks and some art sent to your door every month, consider becoming a Patreon or YouTube member. Details and links are in the video description.